they've done it behind closed doors. It's probably the better way to do it because it's less dramatic, but
you can't trade up. You could all the trades would have happened
already. Yeah. And there may have been some, but
but it's good for Brockville and Pembroke because they only 10 wins this season.
Well, yeah.
But yet they're picking first in 7 to 10 draft.
Yeah, exactly.
And they got 3 drafts in the first.
Yeah.
So it's
You want me back on?
Yeah, go where you.
Okay. Sorry, I move around. Stand by? Yeah.
Okay. You're going to count it from 5. You're going to count it from 5. Yeah. 1, 2.
Good evening, CCHL fans, and welcome to the 2026 CCHL Draft. If you were tuning in for the playoffs last night, you saw a fantastic Game 3 between the Smith Falls Bears and the Rockland Nationals as we barrel towards the end of the season. But tonight is all about looking towards the future. The 12 teams in the CCHL sat down and they will be picking their future prospects, the latest members to join their organizations in just moments. We're here to give you the blow-by-blow breakdown of the draft. My name is Rowan McCarthy. Joining me on the broadcast will be Jordan Hache and Robert Hill. Here's the way this is going to work. We are going to set up. We're going to show you the picks round by round. Shortly thereafter, we're going to have the players come down. I'll have a little conversation with them. But in between that, Jordan will sit down with Robert. They'll have a conversation, break it down, give you player profiles, analyses, stats, all of that good stuff. And now, though, to get you set up for the draft, I'm going to send you over to our panel. Here are Jordan and Robert to get things going.
Welcome to the Nepean Sportsplex. Thanks so much, Rowan, Jordan Hache, Robert Hill here. We are so excited to bring another rendition of the CCHL Draft back and live. Robert, an exciting day, especially for teams that missed the playoffs this year as they try to look forward and get prospects that can make an immediate impact, but also maybe make an impact in 2 or 3 years down the line. Yeah, it is pretty crazy that it's right away, right? It's right in the middle of the finals. 3 games into the finals, maybe we'll see a winner tomorrow. But for right now, these teams that are in the middle of a playoff fight have to scout and have to prepare. And oftentimes a coach and GM, especially at the junior A level, are very intertwined. And it puts extra work on your plate for some of these teams. And what kind of effects would that have maybe potentially on the scouting and on the draft? But the types of players that you can hope for in the draft, I mean, we saw some pretty good examples this past season. Carter Beauchesne and Will Mullins, for me, come to mind from the Smith Falls Bears and the Kemptville 73s. Carter Beauchesne playing on the first line right now in Smith Falls, who's in the finals. That's the kind of impact that you can sometimes have in the CCHL draft. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit of an awkward spot. You see, like in the NHL, for example, the draft is way after the season, but here they want to kickstart these kids going. Like the season's over for everyone in the U16 ranks, right, or even the junior B ranks. It's all over, so they're looking to go forward into the off season. And we also had a draft prospect pre-draft combine a couple weeks ago. That was a really fun time. It was 2 weeks ago from, or 1 week from last Sunday, and it was a blast. It was great to see, all these players. We were live on CCHL radio with that, but a lot of players that are hoping to get drafted today were at that combine, and a few players that I personally have now been able to watch. Last year I wasn't able to watch any of the prospects. Now I'm here. I'll be able to provide some, frankly, better analysis than I was able to in the past. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I was able to speak with multiple prospects at the combine. I did 7 interviews in total, and one specific player for me comes to mind, Sandro Macaridze, who played U16 AAA this year, and he had a broken collarbone throughout the whole season, or a good chunk of the season. And he was able to still show up to the combine. One of the more impressive players for me. He won a Player of the Game honors, and that's just kind of what that can provide late in the season. And it also gives the scouts a chance, or gave the scouts a chance to actually see people in person. A lot of times you're just watching tape. It is difficult, especially in leagues like this when you're really looking at potentially hundreds of leagues, even, or like hundreds of teams rather, to find somebody that might make an impact at the junior A level. They do.
In front of a team of some fairly strong competitors.
Yeah, I mean that's really well put. Goaltending is very tough to distinguish,
it is,
especially at the junior level, where even in the NHL, goaltenders have one amazing season and then a terrible season right after. So
that's right.
Even at the top level. So it is really interesting to get to see some of these goalies get drafted. For me, goaltender Kale Ossipenko comes to mind for the Renfrew Wolves this past season, who was a early draft pick 2 years ago, came into this season just on fire, and ended up ending the season for the Sarnia Sting, played over half the year over in Sarnia in the OHL. And that's the one thing that teams have to kind of teeter or walk the tightrope in terms of this draft is you want a really good player, but you don't want to draft a player that's too good that'll move on in like a year, right?
That's it. We've seen that in years past where a guy like a Jack Quinn got drafted fairly high up for the Canada Lasers back in the day, ended up going off and playing in the OHL for a couple of years. Kale Ossipenko, like you said, went off to Sarnia, and it's really tough when these teams look at a guy and they're like, wow, this is a great opportunity for us to get to that next level with the team, and a couple months into the season, well, that guy's gone and you're back to the basement. You really have to find that nice, happy balance, right?
Yeah, and that adds a little bit more, or a lot more nuance to the scouting.
That's it.
It's who am I getting to stay long term? And that's another part of these scouts. In the NHL, no one's moving up from the NHL, right?
No,
when you're a scout at that level, things are a lot different. But here, especially since the CCHL is primarily a developmental league,
Exactly.
You have to remember that. So it is just so interesting, really.
It is, and obviously you want to see those guys advance. That's what these teams put themselves together for, is we want to grow these gentlemen into great hockey players, also great people, and that's something that the CCHL focuses on. They have the academic side where all the teams have the academic advisors. They want to help grow their individuals into great members of society, and they also want to get that good hockey player that can run with the name for a long time. You look at Mackenzie Weegar, that's a long-time player in the CCHL, then went off and had a great career in the Q, and then now in the NHL. And Jonathan Kovacevic, another one. Marty St. Louis, Hall of Famer, played for the Hawkesbury Hawks, now the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Doing a great job. So it's pretty cool to see.
Can everybody have a seat, please?
As looks like we're about to get underway here.
Yeah, we'll take everyone to the podium in the front here as Kevin Ferguson.
All right, at this time I'd like to welcome CCHL Commissioner Jesse Winchester to the stage.
Jesse Winchester, another former CCHL player and longtime NHLer.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Central Canada Hockey League, I'd like to welcome all players, parents, families, coaches, and team representatives joining us tonight for the 2026 CCHL Draft. This is an exciting evening and an important milestone in the hockey journey of the young athletes in this room. For the players, tonight is a recognition of your hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and achievement through minor hockey. It is also an important next step in your development. You've earned the opportunity to be here, and everyone in this room should take pride in that. Tonight also reflects the strength and momentum of our league. The CCHL continues to be one of the premier junior A hockey leagues in the country, and we take great pride in serving as a key development pathway for our young players. Our focus is on providing a competitive environment where players can grow on the ice, in the classroom, and as young men, and our mission is to assist our players in their journeys to major junior, NCAA, youth sport, and ultimately professional hockey. We've got a big night ahead, and we're all excited to get started. Before I turn it over to our teams, just want to touch on a few housekeeping items real quick. So for rounds 1 and 2 of the draft, we'll begin with each team individually announcing its protected players. After this, rounds 3 and 4 will follow a traditional format, with each team making its selection and picks announced one at a time. When your name is called, please come directly to the podium, then proceed to your team's table to meet members of your new organization, and finally move to the photo area, and you'll be ushered out into the hallway and around for photos. For rounds 5 through 12, the pace will increase. Picks 1 through 12 in each round will be announced simultaneously. During these rounds, please hold all applause and remain seated until the entire round has been completed. This will help keep the process efficient and minimize disruptions. Thank you guys for your attention and cooperation. Let's begin. I invite Brockville up to select their protects.
Brockville is up, Robert.
Yeah, the first pick with their new general manager, Ryan Leonard, at the helm. It's going to be interesting to see what route they go. Obviously, a team that didn't have the success they were hoping for, but
Thank you
time for their pick.
and the Nepean Raiders for hosting this event. Brockville Braves are happy to select with their first protect from UCC goalie Kellen McEwen.
Kellen McEwen of the Upper Canada Cyclones going first overall in the draft here for Brockville. I mean, he had an incredible season between the net for the Cyclones. 11-1-3 record, 1 regulation loss on the year. That is not easy to do in AAA.
No, definitely not easy to do, and a great opportunity for Kellen McEwen to grow with that Brockville Braves organization, a team that's coming back up through the ranks in that rebuild stage. And to bring in a young goaltender like Kellen McEwen, that's a good opportunity for the Braves.
And with our second protect, also from UCC, Thomas Visser.
Thomas Visser is next, Robert, and he was one of the players that was at the CCHL Draft Combine, and I was particularly incredibly impressed by his game. 6'1", 180 pounds. He's filled out. He plays with really good pace as well, and 4 points in 4 games at the CCHL Combine, and 26 points in 32 games in the regular season for the Upper Canada Cyclones.
Definitely some impressive numbers there, and just bulking up that team. You mentioned how he's 6'1", 182 pounds. Still a very young player, going to continue to grow. I would not be surprised if by the time it comes to training camp, he's coming in about 190, 185. Like, it's
certainly possible.
Pretty hefty.
And remember, at that age, you can grow even more, and that's not even a late growth spurt at just turning 16 years old, right? So, big chance, and here's Carlton Place up with their protectors.
Joining us on stage tonight are 2 16-year-olds, Logan Wilson and Reed Harper. With our first pick from the Ottawa Valley Titans, Carlton Place is proud to select Will Gray.
Will Gray from the Ottawa Valley Titans. He's 5'11", 174. Some big players already getting drafted so far. He had 30 points in 32 games over in U16 AAA, and I'm sure he's very excited to be here. He's up there with 2 16-year-olds from Carlton Place. They're also in a sort of rebuild, but more of a retool, as they still were able to make the playoffs despite having a very young team.
A change at the helm as the new head coach, new general manager of that team, Sebastian Lamarche, taking over. That was announced just earlier this week, and of course, both players.
We're proud to select from the Ottawa Valley Titan, Miller Zavitsky.
Both players on the stage, high draft picks last season as well, carrying that torch forward here with the next generation.
And Miller Zavitsky, another winger, a skilled winger, 22 points in 32 games. He's 6'1", nearly 180 pounds, and what stands out about his game is his passing, and well, on top of that, he had 16 assists in those 32 games, and the decision making on his passing play is what stands out on his scouting report, as he's up here with Will Gray for the Carlton Place. Top 2 picks, and they look to continue to improve this year. They had a slow start to this past season, but we were able to pick it up, make the playoffs, and they'll look for an even stronger performance down the stretch next year.
And it would not be too surprising to see these two players playing with each other in the seasons to come. One on the left wing, one on the right wing.
Definitely.
They just need a very strong center up the middle, and we could have a very young line doing big things out there in Carlton Place.
And Cornwall will be the team that's up next. But just look at these players. They look so excited. And
absolutely.
It's great to see these players taking the next step in their careers. This is really the first major step that these players take before, skyrocketing their hockey careers.
It's you could see the nerves on a lot of these players' faces. The parents definitely excited. They're the ones that have made so many sacrifices over the years getting their son to this stage, and now it all pays off today.
From Eastern Ontario Wild, Brock Lamarche.
There's a selection from the Eastern Ontario Wild. Brock Lamarche, 26 points in 32 games, including 14 goals on the season for the Wild. 5'11", 163 pounds. So these teams taking players that are, relatively big for 16-year-olds. Brock Lamarche plays a very versatile game as a left winger, and he's got a really good shot. I mean, obviously demonstrated 14 goals in 32 games is nothing to scoff at.
No, absolutely not. A nice offensive threat for that Cornwall Colts team, and they're going to be looking to fill a couple big holes down there. Camden McQuaig going to be moving on after a great season where he actually split it between the Cornwall Colts and the Kingston Frontenacs, and that's going to be a big hole left to fill, and Brock Lamarche is going to want to be one of those guys to be able to hop up there and do so.
Yeah, absolutely, and their next pick will as well.
Cornwall Colts select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Isaac Charbonneau.
Isaac Charbonneau, also a winger. So far, 5 out of 6 picks have been wingers in this one. 23 points in 32 games for Carbonneau. He's 5'9", the smallest player that's been drafted so far, but he has really put an emphasis to quickness in his game, and he's had a really strong season over for the Wild, and I'm sure you'll be watching him as he continues to develop. If he can keep developing his skating, he can become a real threat at the junior A level.
Well, and again, being a young player, he still has a great opportunity to fill out his body and become a much tougher, stronger forward throughout the next couple of years. And that's somebody that's definitely going to grow with this Cornwall organization. They were very close this year to getting themselves into one of those good playoff spots and just missed out, yeah.
And they'll, especially with the loss of Camden McQuaig, like you said, they'll look to replenish the pipeline, and these two picks do that. Brock LaMarche and Isaac Carbonneau, both from the Eastern Ontario Wild, so they'll have some chemistry as well coming into the season, theoretically.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to try to capitalize on that chemistry that they have, as the Hawkesbury Hawks going to be coming up onto the stage next. Of course, the team going through a change there as well. Ryan Leonard heading out, going back to something that worked for them a couple of years ago. They want to get back to one of those playoff spots, as I see assistant coach Dan Wafer headed up onto the stage. Looks like he's going to make the first decision here.
Hawkesbury Hawks like to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Lawson McCann.
So from the Eastern Ontario Wild U16 AAA team, Lawson McCann, a 5'10", 163-pound left winger. Throughout the season, he had 12 goals and 10 assists for 22 points. He's described as a hard-nosed, two-way player, good with the puck, and has a nice quick stride. This is a team that has to replace a couple big pieces up front, losing guys throughout the year like Michael Mancello heading off. We had Vital Dennis for a little bit. He went off to Rockland, having a great series there. And the captain, Edward Downey, he has departed after this season, so a big hole up front to fill. And this team has a lot of gaps that they're going to need to fill if they want to get themselves into a playoff spot next season. Back in goal, losing goaltender Dylan Mancello, as well as David Lacoste on the back end heading out too.
Hawkesbury Hawks are proud to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Owen Stevens.
So I mentioned David Lacoste leaving the team, headed off to U Sports next season. This is going to be a player that's hoping to step in right away. Owen Stevens, 6'2", 184 pounds, played for the Eastern Ontario Wild last year. He's not necessarily going to pot you many goals. He only had one goal this past season, 12 points on the year, threw in 30 penalty minutes there as well, so not afraid to tough it out a little bit, rough it up. He's described as a physical D-man with great mobility and agility as well, so able to make those quick moves and set up some good plays for his forwards up front. And Hawkesbury is a team that has some good young forwards. Danny Kananga, one of those guys that I really expect to take a big jump next season. If they can get the puck moving from the back end, create a little bit more offense all around, that team's going to be one that might be able to fight a little bit closer for the last playoff spot coming into next season. It's going to be a multi-step process for them, but this is a good start here today, picking up McCann and Stevens with their first two draft picks.
And up next is the Kemptville 73s. They were in the Final Four this year in the Bogart Cup playoffs, but fell ultimately to the Rockland Nationals in 4 games. And a really good year for Kemptville. They had a really stacked roster, especially on the back end.
Select from Ottawa
Absolutely.
Myers, Emmett O'Neill.
And the 73s continue to add on the back end here with Emmett O'Neill from Myers AAA. He is a 5'10", 171-pound defenseman who was one of the best players I saw at the draft combine. In this game, this pick does not surprise me in the least. He's your prototypical puck-moving defenseman. Very nice skater. He's confident with the puck. He's not afraid to use his legs to break pucks out, which is one of the most valuable things you can do as a defenseman. And he had 16 points, half a point per game last year in AAA, and he'll look to continue his legacy here with the Kemptville 73s, who have really built up a strong D-core, and he'll have a really nice system to go into.
Yeah, that team has one of the strongest defensive groups. I remember at the All-Star game, they described themselves as the best D-core in the entire league, and I think it was pretty close.
We'd like to select Cameron Keeley.
And it's Cameron Keeley up next from the Upper Canada Cyclones. He is the shortest player that has been drafted so far, 5'6", 137 pounds, but boy, is this guy quick. He's got the speed and agility that you absolutely look for, and 34 points in 31 games for the Upper Canada Cyclones. He really had a great season, and you have to be that good of a skater if you are, around 5'6", but we've seen so many different players be able to pull that skill set off that's not something you can afford to wait on in drafting nowadays. And Cameron Keeley goes the first center drafted as well, by the way, in the first round.
Yeah, first center drafted here so far. Kind of surprising that it's this late in, but like you mentioned, Cameron Keeley, one of those guys, not very big, but he's able to use his size and have that quickness to be able to move that puck and sneak around the defenders that are trying to hunt him down out there. And as Kemptville wraps up, want to give a quick shout out to Casey Kenny, was supposed to be here with us, had a family emergency, hoping everything is going well there, and looking forward to seeing him back at a rink with us soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And next team up is Navan. They'll have their 2 protect picks. Then we've got Nepean, Ottawa, Pembroke, Renfrew, Rockland, and Smiths Falls, and then it'll go on to the 3rd round. Here are the grads.
I would like to thank the Nepean Raiders for hosting the draft again this year, and I would like to congratulate the Eastern Ontario Wild on winning the U16 championship. And with our first pick, the Navan grads select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, defenseman Leo Hendricks.
And the second defenseman taken here, Leo Hendricks from the Eastern Ontario Wild. He's a player that's really strong at the blue line, especially in the offensive zone. Subtle, really good at using his edges to protect the puck and hold the blue line. Quickness and agility are big parts of his games. He's 6 foot, 175 pounds, so he's well built, especially again for a 16-year-old. And he had 19 points in 32 games for the Eastern Ontario Wild, including 7 goals, which is a really strong performance for him.
Yeah, absolutely. You take a look at the picks here so far. These teams definitely hitting their needs and doing really well with their drafting here so far. As we take a look at the second pick here for the Navan grads.
Are proud to select from the Ottawa 67s, centerman Alexandre Solnay.
And Alexandre Saulnier, the most productive player that has been drafted so far. He is from the junior 67, 6'2", 192 pounds. He's great puck possessor, very productive, 24 points in 17 games this year. And he's a great net driver, but also in the offensive zone, his passing opens plays up. He had 19 assists in 17 games this year in AAA, and he'll be a very interesting project to take up gear, but certainly has really high potential, especially for Junior A.
At 6'2", 192 pounds, the size is definitely there. Has to grow into the hands and get that moving over the next couple of months throughout training. The team's definitely going to work with these guys to get them where they need to be. And like you said, it's a bit of a project, but it's something that the Navan grads can definitely undertake and turn into a very serviceable player for many years to come with that organization.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he was the most productive player so far that's gotten taken.
Absolutely.
And it is because of that skill set of puck protection, offensive awareness, and size as well. So a lot of teams seem to be prioritizing size. You see a bit of difference, like Kemptville. Clearly, they did not care that much about size. Cornwall, but you see over for especially Brockville and Carlton Place, and even Navan didn't draft anyone under 6 feet so far. But I think size is something that has become more and more understood to be overrated over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, you look this past season, we had a player at 5'2", 155 pounds in the league in Parker Ferguson, and he had himself a great season. One of those guys that doesn't necessarily stand out, but he's very quick.
And that's the Nepean Raiders drafting Brody Schultz from Ottawa Myers. And he's a winger from that area. Really good positioning on the ice. He's 5'7", 170 pounds. 22 points for him, including 13 goals over the course of this season in AAA. And a really good year for Schultz as he gets up on the stage. That's Ryan Kingan and Guts Day Brandt, players for the Nepean Raiders. He's got number 7. One more pick for Nepean coming up here in a second.
With our second protect pick, the Nepean Raiders are pleased to select from the Ottawa Valley Titans, Cole Crocker.
And Cole Krotner has already taken the title from Saulnier for the most productive player to be selected so far. 50 points in 31 games for the Ottawa Valley Titans this year. He's also 6'1", 190 pounds. And he is a physical player, great at puck protection. His balance and strength while skating are things to really note. And he's got a really nice first step as well for a somewhat bigger player. It's great to see, and that production, if that can translate in any way whatsoever, this is an absolute home run of a pick.
Well, it sounds like an absolute gem of a pick there for the Nepean Raiders. You have the size, you have the production, you basically have the ideal junior A player. And it's going to be exciting to see what Cole Krotner can do this upcoming season if he's able to make this Nepean Raiders team.
Absolutely. And Robert, you'll be taking us away for the rest of these top 2 round picks, but up next will be the Ottawa Junior Senators.
Yeah, the Ottawa Junior Senators, they were able to make it into the playoffs, losing out to the Smith Falls Bears. I got a chance to call a game there at the Jim Durrell Arena. What a cool environment that one is. It's a nice place, and the fans are absolutely incredible there. They're really hoping that their team can take that next step through the draft, and they're going to be looking to probably fill some big holes up front. A couple guys graduating off from that team over the offseason. So we'll take a look at their first pick here coming up.
Thank you, Nepean Raiders, for hosting, and welcome all families. To announce our first 2 selections, I'd like to introduce Declan Campbell and David Deschatelet.
With our first pick in the Protect rounds, the Ottawa Junior Senators are proud to select from the Ottawa Junior 67s, Innes Robinson.
So Innes Robinson, the first pick here for the Ottawa Junior Senators, coming in at 5'10", 171 pounds. Played for the Ottawa Junior 67s. Had 31 points this past season, including 16 goals in that one. He's not a forward that gets himself too many penalty minutes, so he's able to stay out of the box and add to that production. He's a quick puck moving forward, and he's very good at avoiding the defenders and creating that offense, which is something the Ottawa Junior Senators definitely need. And you look at the 2 guys that announced that pick, very strong forwards themselves, and Declan Campbell, one of those guys that really carries the special teams for that Ottawa Junior Senators organization. So for a guy like Innes Robinson to come in, those 2 guys right next to him are people that he should definitely lean on and try to learn from them over the next couple of years.
Absolutely, and Campbell, who is an acquisition this season from the Nepean Raiders, has really embraced himself at the Ottawa Junior Senators. He'll look to be an overage player and look for really productive.
In the protected rounds, the Ottawa Junior Senators are proud to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Jacob Laplante.
So Jacob Laplante from the Eastern Ontario Wild coming into this one, 6'1", 178 pounds, so a good size on that one. Physical D-man with a good reach and great stick work. He's a strong stick handler, which is going to be very important for them to be able to create those breakout opportunities. And over the past season, 17 points, 2 goals. So he likes to create the offense, set up his forwards, and see what he can do to create a little bit of a spark from the back end.
Yeah, that's some really nice production. We're really seeing some defensemen with some high point numbers so far in this draft, and Ottawa are going to look to come back to the Final Four next year. They missed the playoffs last year, and then this year they come back, make the Final Four. Great season for them, but they had a lot of overage players this year. So these two players are going to be really important for them to have good years. Maybe not this year, but at least in the coming couple of years.
And that's exactly it. As we get set up next is going to be the Pembroke Lumber Kings. And Jordan, that's a team, we mentioned it, having a lot of changes over there with that organization over the last couple of months and weeks. And it's going to be exciting to see what they can do as they enter a new era out there. One of the most historic franchises in the entire country. It would be fantastic to see them get back to a playoff spot and back to the dynasty that was in the Sheldon Keefe era.
Yeah, and it starts here, right, for Pembroke. And this draft is very important for them. CCHL Pembroke, right? They don't have an official buyer or owner right now. It's the league.
League managed.
Thank you. And it'll be important for them to continue to replenish their prospects. And it's Ben Shorey going first for the Lumber Kings.
Yeah, so Ben Shorey just getting selected here by the Pembroke organization. 6'3", 211 pounds. That is by far the biggest player we've had here in the first round. Played for the Ottawa Valley Titans this past season. 28 points, including 13 goals and 51 penalty minutes in that. That's a stat that I do look at to see what the player is capable of. He's very physical and speedy forward, effective at winning those puck battles, and he's very, very good at creating plays through traffic. 6'3", 211 pounds at just 16 years old. So that's actually not even 16 yet. Coming in at 15 years old, a June 24th birthday. So Benjamin Shorey also took part in the Combine, had 4 points there as well.
Yeah, that's a heavy player.
So Caleb Poplinski, a center, coming in at 6 foot, 172 pounds. Also played for the Ottawa Valley Titans, so has a bit of chemistry there with Ben Shorey. Had himself 15 points last season, 8 goals. It's a strong two-way forward, great in the face-off circle, and very good positioning. So that's going to be important on those defensive draws and throughout the special teams. So for Caleb Poplinski to come in, a good local boy, joining this historic franchise, it's an exciting day for Pembroke, and round number 1 definitely looking pretty good for that team.
And some of the best fans in all of the junior A are in Pembroke.
Absolutely.
That's why you hope that this organization gets these players who they just drafted a really good home. And it's good to see that they have allowed these players to give them a guarantee that it's okay. You're all safe in the CCHL. And 2 picks there. Ben Shorey first, and forward and defenseman from the Ottawa Valley Titans as they look to come back next year with a stronger season than 12th overall.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of a season they have. As we get some for the Renfrew Wolves to come up next, we mentioned Kale Ozapenko leaving that organization in the middle of the season, heading off to Sarnia. So this is a great organization when it comes to developing talent, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do. Do they go the route of a goaltender to try to fill that hole left by Kale Ozapenko? We'll have to see.
Tonight with our first round pick from the Ottawa Junior 67s, defenseman Christian Gimpoli.
So Christian Gimpoli from the Ottawa Junior 67s, 5'10", 153 pounds. He took part in the Combine as well, picked up a goal there. Jordan, you had an opportunity to see him. And over the past season, 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points. A dynamic mobile defender, smart puck mover with great vision. And that's going to be a nice addition to the back end here for the Renfrew Wolves. And coming in at 5'10", 153, a bit on a smaller side, but definitely a frame that he can grow into over this offseason and headed into the first couple years of development.
And I would totally agree, Robert. His goal at the Combine was not any goal. It was an end-to-end where he went through 3 defenders and potted one himself, by the way. And he is a dynamic puck mover, great skater, light on his feet. And that mold of defenseman has become more and more popular. You think of a
goalie, Marcus Smolczyk.
And there's a goalie.
Well, there we go. Marcus Smolczyk going to go to the Renfrew Wolves. 6'1", 162 pounds, played for the Ottawa Valley Titans. Had a 2.37 goals against with 1 shutout and a 9.53 record. So that's actually a very solid record when it comes to the U16 AAA ranks. He's very quick with his glove and going to be a great potential replacement for that hole left by Kale Ozapenko out there in Renfrew.
Yeah, and it's good to see that goaltenders still getting drafted high. Some of these AAA guys, again, we talked about how it's hard to tell if your players are, or if your goaltender is going to be continued to stay good, but clearly teams have faith in these goalies. Kellen McEwen going earlier to Brockville, and now this pick here, Smolchik. But back to Ginpoli, who had just gone. Talk about the mold of offensive defensemen, like a, on the high end, Lane Hudson, or we've seen like a Xavier Villeneuve in the QMJHL over the last few years, and that's kind of what a best case scenario type of pick it is from a Christian Ginpoli.
Absolutely is. Next, these final 2 teams in these first and second rounds are the teams that are facing off in the finals right now, the Bogart Cup playoffs. Rockland going to be up first, and maybe a nice little break for the management team to be away from the rink for a couple days and just get their picks together before they head off to Smith Falls tomorrow. That game going to be on CCHL radio. Potentially the Bogart Cup clinching game, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Harper Cody going to have the call. The CCHL Broadcaster of the Year winning the Chris Messina Award.
The Rockland Nats are proud to select, sont fiers de sélectionner Tristan Gendron Steele.
So Tristan Gendron Steele out of the Eastern Ontario Wild U16 headed to the defending champion Rockland Nationals organization. Had himself 37 points this past season, 14 goals, a strong physical skater with a big motor and a good hustle guy. You look at that team, and they are very, very deep up front. Gabriel Lahulier, the top forward in the entire country. Alex Kellaway, Vital Dennis, Maverick Brunet. You could name 12 guys, and they could all be first liners absolutely anywhere. So for Tristan Gendron Steele to come in, a very strong center, 5'10", 155 pounds, so a bit on the smaller side when it comes to weight. He's going to bulk up there as well, and he's joining an organization that if he's able to play with any of those guys, he could absolutely light it up.
Absolutely, and Rockland has been really strong in terms of development.
Are proud to selection Gavin Héroux.
So dipping back into the pool of the Eastern Ontario Wild U16 ranks, another forward that had 37 points this past season, a right winger, by far the smallest player that we've seen so far in these opening 2 rounds, 5'4", 146 pounds. His birthday is actually coming up in just over a week, going to be 16 years old there. He's a very speedy, agile forward with a quick first step and great give and go all throughout. So Gavin Aru coming in and joining this Rockland Nationals organization. And, we mentioned it earlier, Parker Ferguson, a smaller guy in this league that really does not look out of place, and he's actually shorter at 5'2". So Gavin Aru, just a little bit bigger, showing that the small guy can make it in this league as well.
Yeah, and I think they can. There's no reason not to believe. Every short player, something you need to remember, every short player has played their entire lives short, and
that's it.
They're still amazing. They're still great, and Gavin Aru is one of them, and he's a top pick now for the Rockland Nationals.
I'm going to dip right back into a guy we mentioned earlier, Marty St. Louis, a CCHL player, went undrafted in the NHL, definitely one of the smallest guys that you'll see make it to the NHL, and now he's a Hockey Hall of Famer and the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens as the Smith Falls Bears get set to take the stage.
The Smith Falls Bears are proud to select with our first protection from the Ottawa Valley Titans for Jacob Tizik.
So Jacob Tizik, a center from the Ottawa Valley Titans,
Had 18 goals and 26 assists for 44 points this past season. He's a quick, agile forward with great hands. He also got to play a couple of games up with the Junior B Smith Falls Bears, so he has a little bit of junior experience already. That's going to be something that'll definitely help him when he looks to take that next step and go into the Junior A ranks with the Bears. And that's one of those organizations as well that it's very nice to be able to enter the fold there, because if you're not quite at that step to make the Junior A team, you could still get the junior experience against men playing for the Junior B Smith Falls Bears. But Jacob Tizik, 5'8", 157 pounds, the newest member of the Smith Falls Bears.
With our second protection from the Upper Canada Cyclones, forward Quinn Kearley.
So Quinn Creeley joining the Smith Falls Bears, a right winger, physical with a very strong stride and a quick, good puck handler. That's going to be a very good addition to that team. 6'1", 171. Played for the Upper Canada Cyclones. Had himself 19 points this past season, including 11 goals. So he's able to chip in and really help out up front there at the right wing spot. And that is the final pick of the opening 2 rounds here from those Protect lists, Jordan.
Yeah, and there it goes. And now the draft is wide open. And you can take anyone you want. It doesn't have to be from your area. The trades you're allowed now, traded picks are part of the fold, right? Pembroke has 3 picks in this round. Rockland has 2 picks in this round. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of picks are being made, but still a lot of talent on the board here.
Absolutely. And sometimes you do see possibly the best players in the draft go a little bit later because of those OHL potential picks or going off to the queue. So the team's not wanting to use their high picks on guys that might not make those teams.
Moving into round 3, Pembroke.
Here's Pembroke with the first pick in the open draft floor. Then it'll be Nepean and Rockland up on the docket. I think a microphone just fell down.
Jesse Winchester did a mic drop up there. He's new. It's okay.
CCHL Pembroke, proud to select in the 3rd round first pick. Who we got? From the Ottawa Valley Titans, Mr. Lowry.
Jake Lowry from the Ottawa Valley Titans, continuing AAA. He's a defenseman, 5'9", 163 pounds. He had a very strong year for the Titans, 15 points in 32 games, and really strong two-way defenseman. He's great at reading plays, and he's also really nice in terms of his puck movement, and that is what you hope to look at in a pick like this in the early 3rd round, but really it's the first open draft round.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is an opportunity to blow things wide open and kind of dig into everyone that's out there. Is the first pick off the board there, like you mentioned, Jake Lowry going to CCHL Pembroke.
And it's Nepean Raiders up next. And there goes another mic drop.
We're just going to leave that one on the floor, I think.
3rd round pick, the Nepean Raiders are pleased to select from Glengarry Junior B, Sam Hardy.
And the first 2009 born player off the board in this one, it's Sam Hardy, who played 23 games of Junior B hockey last year, as he would have been a underager in the CCHL and a 16-year-old, but now he comes in with a year of Junior B experience under his belt, and this is a pick that Nepean might be thinking to themselves, hey, 23 games, 8 points from 56 penalty minutes. He gets into things. Maybe he can come in and make an impact year one.
Well, that's exactly it. You're getting a player that has that junior experience already. It's not as big of a jump up from the U16 ranks to CCHL as compared to Junior B to Junior A now. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do as Sam Hardy joins the Nepean Raiders. And it's nice to see Junior B getting a little bit of love here early on. That's how I came up through the hockey ranks. I was back with the Ottawa Golden Knights, working in various roles there. So nice to see the EOJHL getting a little bit of love here in round 3.
It is, and it is a really good league too. You forget that the league right under, but in Junior B, a lot of players who just maybe can't quite commit to a full Junior A.
That's it.
Experience, but they still want to get that hockey in to be able to potentially play Division III or U Sport. They still go play Junior B, and you see players make the jump all the time.
Marco Micheli.
And there's Rockland with their first pick, Marco Nicelli. That's a pick from Hawkesbury. Robert, do you know what trade that's from?
I actually do not. I want to say it might have had to do with the Vital Dinis trade. Might have came back with Vital to the team, picked up Matthew Itzkovitz on that one, as well as a couple of other pieces. So I'm thinking it might have had to do with that deal there. But a good pick here for the Rockland Nationals. 5'10" Marco Nicelli, 172 pounds. It's his birthday today, actually. So happy
birthday to him, eh?
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, the most productive defenseman we've seen so far, 23 points in 32 games for the Ottawa Junior 67s. And Rockland continuing, looks like another really strong pick for them. As next up is the Cornwall Colts. They'll be making their first pick of this third round. Then after, it's Pembroke, Brockville, and Renfrew on the docket.
So quickly moving here through this third round, already 3 picks in. Of course, for those of you that have not followed the CCHL draft in the past, there is 12 rounds that will go through throughout the drafting process. It's going to pick up as we go along as well.
From the Ottawa Junior 67s, Kyson McMillan.
So Kyson McMillan coming over to the Cornwall Colts, coming in at 5'9", the July-born player. Played for the played for the Ottawa 67's U16 this past season. Had himself 21 points over there, and a very solid puck moving forward. Very strong and agile up front. Very dynamic. He's noted for his scoring chance creation, so this is going to be a guy that will be a nice addition here to this Cornwall Colts organization. Again, a team that has to replace a hole left by Camden McQuaig up front, and I think a guy like Kyson McMillan could really slot in well with Brandon Rockwell up front and create a little bit of offense there in those middle 2 lines.
I was very impressed with his play at the draft combine, McMillan, and you talked about his chance generation. I think that really puts it perfectly. He's great at breaking plays up through the middle, using space that's being made for him to his advantage, and he's got a really nice shot. But a really good draft combine from Kyson McMillan. I think put him up the draft boards here.
Theo Gravel.
As Theo Gravel going to head off here to CCHL Pembroke. He's coming in at 5'11", 172 pounds. Played this past season with the Eastern Ontario Wild, picking up 2 goals and 11 assists for 13 points on the season. It's a big addition on the back end there, a right shot defender joining that CCHL Pembroke organization. And this is a guy that very well could slot right in on that team, maybe playing on the bottom 2 pairs to start and work his way up through the lineup. But a nice addition here to CCHL Pembroke with Theo Gravel, the latest member to join that organization.
And a lot of picks for Pembroke, right? This is their second of the round. They're going to have one more later. And what this does is it allows them a chance for a quick rebuild turnaround if even 2 of these first 5 players really hit.
That's exactly it. It's a nice opportunity when you're able to stack up those draft picks in the early rounds here of the CCHL draft as the Brockville Braves head up to make their next pick here.
We are pleased to select from UCC defenseman Blake White.
So another pick on the back end here. It is defenseman Blake White from the Upper Canada Cyclones. This past season, picking up 5 goals, 13 assists for 18 points. Had himself 20 penalty minutes as well. He's a very physical presence on the back end, able to use the timing to create the space that's needed to make those big plays. So Blake White, the latest member here of the Brockville Braves. And Brockville, again, one of those teams that was just needing that little bit extra to put themselves into one of those playoff positions. And so far in their draft, it seems like they've picked up a lot of physicality that should help their very skilled forwards that they do have on that team create the space and be able to generate some offense and hopefully start winning a couple more games this season under new head coach Ryan Leonard.
And a very balanced approach so far for Brockville. A winger, a goalie, and now a defenseman in their first 3
They're hitting
games.
every box. It's very good start so far.
Next will be Renfrew, and then Navan, Kemptville, and Ottawa before Pembroke and Rockland close out the 3rd round here. But still lots to go. The first 5 rounds, as a reminder, will be pretty slow, like they are right now. And then after the round 5, play picks up. It's Cole McCrae, the next pick for the Renfrew Wolves from Myers, U16 AAA. And there's another defenseman going for the Renfrew Wolves. They already took Gimpoli in the first pick. Here he comes up, and he was also at the CCHL Combine. Thought he was pretty impressive as well. Just a really strong two-way game from him. Looked very responsible on the ice there. A lot of times, especially at draft combines, you see players getting a little bit hectic, a bit out of position, a lot of risks. But I thought Cole McCrae was very steady on the back end.
And that's probably something that really paid off for him in the Combine, was showing that he's not going to try to do anything too flashy. Just play smart and responsible hockey on the back end. And that's what you're looking for, especially in a young defender. As Cole McCrae, the sixth defenseman taken here in this 3rd round out of 7 so far, as we get set for the next pick coming up here from the Navan grads.
Navan.
As the Navan grads up to the podium, are getting set to come up to the podium here. That's a team that had themselves a very promising start to the season and kind of faded throughout the middle portion of the year. And they're very close to being able to take that next step. And as we
Luke Angle.
get the next pick here from the Navan grad, Luke Anglesey from the Ottawa Junior 67. So the 7th defenseman taken in the first 8 picks here in round number 3. Luke Anglesey, a tall, strong defenseman who excels at using his reach and frame to disrupt all the plays out there. As we take a look at his stats from this past season, coming in at 6'3", 184 pounds. That is a player that is very big in stature and had himself a pretty solid season. 6 points on the back end. Nothing too flashy, but throwing in 26 penalty minutes in there as well, so not afraid to get a little bit physical. As the next pick coming up here, the Kemptville 73s.
Kemptville 73s are proud to select Dylan Malhotra.
So Dylan Malhotra, the next pick here for the Kemptville 73s, coming in at the 33rd overall pick. 5'10", 171 pounds. Played for the Ottawa Myers Automotive U16 AAA organization. He is a center, so another one of the first centers taken in this draft so far this past season. Had himself a good year. 3 goals, 12 assists for 15 points. So not necessarily going to create a ton of offense out there for you, but going to be strong in the faceoff dot, and that's very important to winning games.
Yeah, and I was a fan of his game at the draft combine as well. Just the way that this guy skates is really strong. I think he really separated himself in that respect. at the Combine. He brought a lot of offense as well, but another player from Ottawa Myers getting taken here. It's been an Ottawa AAA round here so far, besides the pick from Glengarry from Nepean, but a really strong player, Dylan Malhotra, is up next. The Ottawa Junior Senators with their third-round pick.
So the Ottawa Junior Senators going to be the next team to come up here and make their selection. Again, a team that was so close to advancing to the Bogart Cup Finals, just missing out here as they take the stage and get set to make the 34th overall selection.
The Ottawa Junior Senators are proud to select from the Ottawa Junior 67s, Alexander Makaridze.
And there's Sandro Makaridze, who goes in the third round here. We talked about him earlier as being one of the players that benefited a lot from the pre-draft combine, being a player that was injured, broke his collarbone twice last season. He's from Georgia, fun fact, and he's really high skill player in my opinion. This has the potential to really be one of the steals of the draft, and I don't say that lightly because the skill level that this guy is at is really high. If he can find a way to put that together, put that on the ice, and continue to develop off the ice and be a consistent player, he could really be a star player in junior A.
Well, and just looking at his stats, he's a player that shows up in the big moments. You look at the OHL Cup, 4 points in 4 games. You look at the playoffs down there for the Ottawa 67s U16, 8 points in 12 games. This is a guy that's going to contribute when he needs to, and almost a point a game as well in the regular season, so very consistent.
Yeah, he's a really strong play creator. Maybe not necessarily a finisher. We're at 4 goals in 18 games in the regular season, 4 goals in 12 in the playoffs, which actually is still pretty good.
Absolutely.
But he creates plays because he has some of the softest hands you'll see at the U16 level, and it's really nice to see that at the Combine.
To select from Myers, Ben Schmidt.
So CCHL Pembroke going with Ben Schmidt, a left winger from Ottawa Myers Automotive U16 ranks. His birthday's tomorrow, so happy birthday to him as well. A very physical forward, utilizing his side to protect the puck and create space out there for his organization. Taking a look at the stats of this past season, Ben did not get an opportunity to really play too much this past year, only playing in 7 games, had himself 2 points, and in that he had 20 penalty minutes. And I know you saw him at the Combine just last week, picked up a goal in that Combine and really showed what he could do after a year that he didn't necessarily get all those looks.
Yeah, I thought he was a steady player at the Combine, someone who stood out to me in a good way. Overall, nothing flashy about his game, but I did think he was very consistent there. No poor turnovers, and I thought he had a really effective stick, like in terms of his forecheck and puck skills over at the draft combine. It's Rockland up next for the last pick of the third round, and it's after that run of defensemen, 7 out of 8. It's been 3 forwards back to back.
Yeah, so nice to see a bit of a shuffle throughout. Seeing us dipping into just about every pool here so far as Rockland comes up to the stage.
The Rockland Nath are proud to select William Boyko.
So finally another center going off the boards here. William Boyko from the Ottawa Juniors 67s U16. 5'8", 158 pounds. So again, a bit smaller in stature, but a very skilled forward with a strong work ethic that's noted quite a bit throughout my research I did on this player. So a very strong addition to any lineup. But you look at his stats from this past season, 22 points in 32 games, picking up just 12 penalty minutes. So not a guy that's going to go to the penalty box a lot, but he's going to generate that depth offense that you're going to be looking for to create a successful season. So William Boyko, a nice addition here to the Rockland Nationals coming in here in round number 3. It's exciting times for him as well because he's getting to join one of the best franchises in the country.
And Rockland has proven time and time again that if you're a good player, doesn't matter how tall you are. We've talked about that a lot today.
Absolutely.
And maybe we've talked about it a little bit too much even. But for Rockland, players come to mind who are a bit shorter, who are incredible players for them. Last year, Anthony Hall was one of the best players in the CCHL, arguably the best winger. Shorter player. Alex Kellaway this year is one of the best centers in the league. He's 5'7". Gabriel Giroux on the back end is one of the up-and-coming young defensemen of the league. He's
fantastic.
Very short as well. So Rockland proving that they can develop talent, and that's what's more important than your size. And it's great to see that they're taking chances on Will Boyko, on Gavin Naru, who's 5'4". So great to see from Rockland. And Pembroke's up next with another pick.
Pembroke is proud to draft from Eastern Ontario Wild, Joshua Grew.
So Joshua Grew, the first pick here in the 4th round. Another goaltender off the board, coming in at 6 feet, 169 pounds. Played this past season with Eastern Ontario Wild U16 AAA organization. That's a team that's had quite a bit of talent gone here so far in the CCHL draft, and that's a testament to their coaching staff and the entire organization over there. And just looking at this past season, a 2.39 goals against average. But what I'm looking at is the OHL Showcase stats that he had, picking up a shutout there, 2.04 goals against and a .911 save percentage. Very strong stats there for goaltender Joshua Grew, and a nice addition to that Pembroke organization where might have a very good chance of stepping in, at least in a backup role, heading into the next season.
And lots of picks for Pembroke, so may as well take a shot on a goal on the
Why
best
not?
goaltender that you think is left at this point in the draft.
Rockland.
And it's Rockland up next again. They have Nepean's 4th round pick here. That's going to sting a little bit for the Raiders, who are trying to rebuild after a couple of seasons out of the playoffs here. And Joshua Grew was the last pick for Pembroke, goaltender. Up next is Rockland.
The Rockland Knights are proud to select Alec Leroux.
And Alec Leroux finally ends the run of no defenseman from the last 5 picks. It's just going back and forth. And he's a left defenseman, 5'8", 146 pounds. He's coming from the Eastern Ontario Wild. And another strong pick for Rockland here, who somehow have a lot of picks, it seems like, even though they are the top team in the CCHL, or currently the top team, leading 3-0 against the Smith Falls Bears in the finals.
They played it right, picking up the draft picks, stacking up. And you got to think, they made quite a few moves to try to build the powerhouse organization that they have right now. So it's not too surprising to see this team have so many draft picks as we get set for the Hawkesbury Hawks to come back up onto the stage. They're going to make their 4th round selection, their 3rd pick of the draft, of course, after trading away their 3rd round pick to the Rockland Nationals.
With their 4th round pick, the Hawkesbury Hawks were proud to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Evan Allenby.
We're keeping the run of the Eastern Ontario Wild players going. Here is Evan Allenby, the latest selection here for the Hawkesbury Hawks. A 5'11", 176-pound centerman headed off to Hawkesbury. A physical, strong, smart centerman that's going to be joining that organization. And just taking a look at the stats from this past season, 21 points in 29 games, so a very strong offensive threat, but also throwing in 70 penalty minutes in those 29 games. So this is a player that's very physical presence, going to be a nice addition to that organization. They like the physicality. You look at a guy like Ben Lacoste on the Hawkesbury Hawks, started as a defenseman, playing forward towards the end of the season, not afraid to throw the body there. And Ben Allenby going to be one of those guys that's going to potentially step into a role and really fill that bottom 6 physicality role that Hawkesbury's looking for.
And that is what you hope for. With some of these picks in the 4th round, it's just someone that can fill in their first couple seasons, play in the bottom 6, grow, and then maybe by the time they're overagers, they can become real impact players for your team. And
absolutely.
We'll see who's up next, but for now it's Cornwall, then Rockland again, who have 2 4th-round picks, but 2 early 4ths instead of what they would have as 12th. And then Brockville will get back here as they have 2 picks left in this round.
Are proud to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Curtis Cook.
And Curtis Cook, another centerman off the board. That's back-to-back. 6 foot, 170 pounds from the Eastern Ontario Wild. That's 4 Wild players in a row being selected in this draft, and some great development from that team. But Curtis Cook is a player who has consistently shown up in big games this season. Over the regular season, 12 goals, pretty good actually in 30 games, 18 points. Maybe you'd like to see a little bit more assists for an early round player, but in the playoffs, 13 points in 13 games, and at the OHL Cup Showcase, 3 points in 4 games. So a really good season for Curtis Cook, who the end of his year really helped skyrocket him up into this 4th round.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Eastern Ontario Wild having a great run here in this 4th round. They've had pretty much all the picks so far.
All of them, yep.
Yeah, it's a great testament to that team. And if you're an Eastern Ontario Wild, there's probably a good chance you're going to get drafted here today. So far.
Definitely. And really all these U16 AAA teams.
Absolutely.
Unless you had like an unfortunate year like with injuries or something like that. But the standard of the U16 AAA is just so high nowadays, and if anyone ever has a chance to go and watch any of those games, they're really impressive.
Austin Bennett.
So Rockland heading back between the twine here, taking goaltender Austin Bennett, a 6'1" goaltender, played this past season with Ottawa Myers Automotive U16 AAA, 191 pounds, so a nice big-sized goaltender, really going to fill that net quite well. A very mobile goalie, so he's not afraid to get out there, play the puck. Very flashy glove as well. And just taking a look at the stat sheet for Austin Bennett this past season, 3.85 goals against, so not necessarily the statistic he was hoping for, I'm sure, but there's a lot of other factors that come into goals against. Not a lot of stats available for some of these leagues, but Austin Bennett able to join an organization, Jordan, that has a great goaltender in Caden Newton right now, and it could be a good mentor to a young goaltender like Austin Bennett.
Absolutely, Robert. And the thing with goaltenders is you don't get many stats. You can't see the tangible stats because at the U16 level, they're not counting saves. They're not counting save percentage. They're not counting high-danger shots, right? That's not something that's ever going to get calculated around that level. So you need your scouts to go. You need your scouts to watch. And that's what also makes goaltending so hard to predict is because if your scouts catch some good games but then they have bad games, it's tough to see the difference, and you don't get those counting stats that you might with players.
Brockville Braves headed up to make their 4th round selection, as they're going to dip back into the Eastern Ontario Junior Hockey League, taking defenseman Nick Colson from the Smith Falls Bears Junior B team, 6 foot, 187 pounds. He's a very aggressive, mobile defenseman, so a guy that's going to get in your face a little bit, but he's also able to move that puck and create a little bit of offense. As you look at this past season, 25 points in 44 games, but this is probably the highest stat we may see in this draft, 100 penalty minutes in those 44 games. So a guy that had a bit of time in the box, but also was able to put the puck in the net.
Not to mention 32 penalty minutes in the playoffs as well. 132 minutes in the box. That's a lot of time sitting on your butt.
He's well rested.
Yeah.
Renfrew Bulls are proud to select from Ottawa Sting U16 forward Bennett Lejar.
And just back to the Smith Falls pick of Nick Colson, 10 goals on the season and 28 assists as a defenseman. Really, really productive year for Colson, and I would not be surprised if he even makes the Bears as soon as next season.
Absolutely. As the next pick just went through from the Renfrew Wolves, forward Bennett Leger. A bit of a smaller statute player again, but as we've discussed throughout, that does not matter. As Bennett Leger going to come in and join an organization that has a lot of opportunity for growth over this next season. And taking a look at his stats with the Ottawa Sting U16 organization, 25 points in 28 games, so nearly a point per game for Leger, and in that 11 goals and 14 assists. So able to put the puck in the net himself, but also good at dishing it out and creating a bit of that secondary offense.
Yeah, and he's got the biggest smile I think I've seen today on his face up there. And congratulations to Bennett Leger, who put himself on the map. A great season for him. And up next is Navan, Kemptville, Brockville, Pembroke, and Smiths Falls. We'll close out round 4. As a reminder, the first 5 rounds are this format, as they'll continue to go pick by pick, but then all the rounds after that, the entire round will be announced at once.
So I just got a little bit of insider information here on Nick Colson. Apparently he was a very key piece of the power play for that Smiths Falls Junior B team, at courtesy of my good buddy Andre with Castleman.
Justin Dezo Tour.
So Justin Desotour headed off to the Navan Grads, 6 foot, 208-pound defender. Played for the Ottawa Juniors 67's U16 team this past season. He's described as a skilled defender who's able to make an impact on each and every shift. So that's something that you definitely love to see from the scouts on these players. As we look at his stats from the past season, 1 goal and 8 assists for 9 points in 32 games. But what he's able to do is create the secondary offense, create those plays that are able to get going while also offering in the strong defensive plays to keep the puck out of the net.
And he's already built like a junior A
Absolutely.
player, right? Nearly 210 pounds. That's the heaviest player we've seen so far by a good margin as well. And I think he'll be ready. He's got already the frame for junior hockey. He's just got to continue to build up the skill set. He could be a really interesting player to keep a lookout on in the future, as Kemptville will come up next. Is Deschauteur, a defenseman.
Kemptville.
Kemptville will make the next pick.
With our 4th round pick, other Mike. With our 4th round pick, the Kemptville 73s are proud to select from the Upper Canada Cyclones forward Julian Mello.
So Julian Mello headed off to the Kemptville 73s, played last season with the Upper Canada Cyclones U16, 5'9", 143 pounds, a skilled forward, able to utilize his size with being a very speedy forward. It demonstrates a lot of patience and puck control out there. As we take a look at his stats from this past season, 28 points in 31 games, so a very strong offensive output here from Julian Mello, only throwing in 16 penalty minutes, so very smart player as well, keeping himself out of the box and contributing with primary and secondary offense, 12 goals, 16 assists in 31 games.
And Mello is, well, one of the best players I saw at the Draft Combine. He was just everywhere. He was playing with Thomas Visser, 1st round pick for Brockville.
Yep.
And that line was the best line I saw at the Combine. They were so effective just offensively, especially on the counterattack. Mello works really well in that respect, and he's a younger player, born in November, so he's got a lot of room to grow and try to become an impact player for the Kemptville 73s.
Jake Petruska.
And that's a pick for Brockville. Jake Petruska, the first player from Canada to get drafted in this one.
Yeah, taking a look at Jake Petruska's stats from this past season, playing for the Canada Blazers U16, like you mentioned, and one of the first from that organization to go, I'm sure first of many, is he played for a selection of teams last season, 50 points in 28 games, 32 goals, 18 assists, so very, very strong year there. And then you look at the playoffs, and he's a big game guy as well, 14 goals, 7 assists for 21 points in just 13 games. So nearly 2 points a game in the playoffs. That's a guy that you definitely want to look at adding to your organization. And, you know, in those 13 playoff games, 2 penalty minutes.
In a dominant season at AA, right? For Petruska, and he also played 2 games in AAA, got 2 points in those 2 games. So he really has been everywhere.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty good pick. I really like this pick for Brockville, and I think this one has some really good potential as well.
Absolutely. A CCHL Pembroke going to come back up and make the 47th overall selection here in the draft. We are absolutely flying through these picks at this point. The pace only going to pick up after round number 5 as we're coming to the end of the 4th round.
CCHL Pembroke is proud to select from the Eastern Ontario Wild, Isaiah Joseph.
So Isaiah Joseph played this past season with Eastern Ontario Wild, 5'11", 184 pounds. He's out of Ottawa, Ontario, so a nice local boy here. Going to be joining the ranks of CCHL Pembroke. And looking at the past season, 15 points in 29 games, 6 goals, 9 assists in that one. So just adding to the long list of Eastern Ontario Wild players that has been selected here today. And going to be really interesting to see some of those rivalries that develop amongst these guys that are currently teammates over the next couple of years, because you know they're going to have some very heated exchanges out there on the ice as the CCHL produces some phenomenal hockey. And I'm excited, and we're only 4 rounds in, just seeing the size of some of these players and seeing the stats that they carry heading into this next season. As we get set for the final pick of round number 4. The Smith Falls Bears, again, tomorrow night going to be hosting game number 4 of the Bogart Cup Finals. That one taking place at the Smith Falls Memorial Center. Be sure to head on out, or you can listen to it on CCHL Radio or watch on Flow Hockey.
With our 4th round selection, the Smith Falls Bears are proud to select D-man from the Upper Canada Cyclones, Aiden Pluie.
So the final pick of round number 4 from the Upper Canada Cyclones, 6'2", 180-pound Aiden Pluie. Just taking a look at his stats, a local boy coming out of Brockville. Played this past season, like I said, with the Cyclones, 6 points in 24 games, 44 penalty minutes throughout. Also got to go up and play a little bit of U18. Didn't pick up any points in those games, but did contribute by adding a couple of penalty minutes, so a bit of a physical game there. And looking at his stats from previous seasons as well, this one kind of blows my mind a little bit. HEO U15 a couple of years ago, 167 penalty minutes in 46 games. So this guy going to bring a very physical game to the Central Canada Hockey League.
That he is, right? You said 6'3", 180.
Yeah.
Just needs maybe a couple years of development, or just a really good offseason of development before he can really get going.
4th round.
5th round is up here.
Rounds 5 through 12. We're going to change it up a little bit. The picks in each round will be announced simultaneously. During these rounds, we ask that you please hold all applause and remain seated until the last pick. Once the picks are complete, you're invited, the players or the selections are invited to go meet with their organizations at the tables. Okay, so.
So the first 4 rounds here were slower. I thought it was the first 5. That's my apologies, but
Selects Owen Marshall.
Owen Marshall.
Ottawa Myers Auto. Nepean selects Louis Carroll from Ottawa Valley. Hawkesbury selects Hugo Sumer from Ottawa Valley. Hawkesbury again selects Nate Cesario from Ottawa 67s. Ottawa selects Max Windle from Ottawa Myers. Brockville selects Lucas Legault from Ottawa Valley. Brockville then selects Zach Willett from Eastern Ontario Wild. Carlton Place selects Misha Watson from Ottawa 67s. Kemptville selects Max Poirier from Ottawa Valley. Ottawa selects Hayden McNeil from Upper Canada. Smith Falls selects Jake Baumgartner from Canada. And with the last pick, Rockland selects Samuel Watson-Bach from Ottawa Valley.
And that concludes the fifth round here of the CCHL Draft. A couple players that I want to talk about quickly before we move on to our interviews here. Sam Watson-Beck, pick 60 of round 5 to Rockland, the last pick of round 5. And he was the MVP of the CCHL Draft Combine for me. Great player from Ottawa Myers Automotive, defenseman, really good skater, but also not afraid to lay the body. He laid some huge hits in that game or over that weekend, and also really active offensively at finding open spaces to drift into. As soon as he saw his defending winger, come out of position, he filled that space and created offense for his team. He had 4 points in 4 games over the weekend, and I think this is one of the best picks of the draft. And of course, it goes to the Rockland Nationals.
Of course.
At the end of the 5th round. But we've got a lot of interviews that we were fortunate enough to be able to talk with some of the players here. Our own Rowan McCarthy, who set us up earlier on. We're going to set him back up here for some interviews with players from the first 2 rounds of the draft here.
Yeah, absolutely. A great opening couple rounds as we head over to Rowan McCarthy.
He mentioned family. Is there anybody here watching, and what does it mean to have them behind you going through this process?
Yeah, so all my family's here, my mom, my dad, and my brother. They're all very supportive throughout the whole year, and it's very nice to represent them at the draft and Brockville.
And how did you feel when you found out it was Brockville?
I mean, I'm very excited to go to any CCHL team, so I'm just ready to get started and continue my development.
All right, back over here, I'm going to ask you, Callie, because you're a goalie, and we know that often goalies go a little later in drafts at the NHL level, but what does it mean to go so early as a goaltender?
You know, it definitely shows, like, that my hard work's been paying off, and, like, I've been getting noticed. To go early is really cool and special, and I'm really proud of myself and my family and my goalie coaches for helping me get here.
All right, I'll ask you both the same question here to finish. Is there anything you want to say to Brockville Braves fans? Thomas, I'll start with you.
Let's get it.
All right. Simple, smart, short but sweet, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. And now over here, Callie.
One thing to say to the fans, I think that, you know, this is going to be a fun couple of years, and I would like to bring the trophy back home.
All right, strong words. Here are the first 2 picks for the Brockville Braves, Callie McEwen and Thomas Visser. Boys, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys.
And that was Thomas Visser and Kellen McEwen, first 2 picks for the Brockville Braves in this draft. Up next, we've got 2 players, the 2 draft picks from Cornwall with Brock LaMarche and Isaac Carbonell.
Playing in that huge arena.
No, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Pretty big building, and I think, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Brock, I'm going to come over here. Who's here watching you tonight, and did you say anything to them the moment you heard your name on that stage?
Yeah, you know, my parents are here, and obviously the coaches and the team. I want to thank them so much for getting me here and everything they've done for us, and obviously a big shout out to them, and I'll definitely give them a big hug after this.
Now, going in and sitting down in the crowd, not knowing where you were going to go, what were the feelings like?
I was nervous, but I figured the way that I played this year and the way that I showed, I had a good chance that I'd go pretty high in the draft. So I was pretty happy to see I picked like Cornwall. It was awesome watching them grow up when I was a little and still to this day. So it's a great arena, a great organization. I'm excited.
All right, I'm going to finish off with the same question to both of you, okay? Give me a little bit about your style of play and what you'll bring to the Colts, all right? Isaac, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a skilled two-way forward who's very smart. I have a good work ethic, and I like to distribute the puck to my teammates. So, yeah, I'm a hard-working guy, and I think that's what you'll kind of see out of me. Fast-paced game.
All right, thank you very much. Brock, to you.
I'm a reliable two-way forward. I like to play the body a little bit. I like to make plays to my team. I'm not afraid to put my body in the line for the team, make plays, bring energy up for the boys, and lead my game by example.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on these selections, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Brock LaMarche and Isaac Carbonneau of Cornwall.
We're going to throw it back to Rowan McCarthy, standing by with the Carlton Place Canadians' first 2 draft picks, William Gray and Miller Zavitsky.
Griffin Amy from Eastern Ontario Wild. Rockville selects Benjamin Doris.
All right, well, I'm pleased to be... I'm pleased to be joined by the 2 newest members of the Carlton Place Canadians. They are Will Gray to my right and Miller Zavitsky here on my left. Guys, a couple questions. Let's give you a little of an introduction to the Carlton Place Canadians fan base. We know it's a great fan base, and Will, you grew up watching this Carlton Place team. Yep. What does it mean to you to potentially get to play in front of that hometown crowd?
Oh, it's just honestly an honor because I've been there watching their games since I was young, and it's just a dream come true, to be honest.
Did you watch them in that championship run they had last season, and what were your thoughts on it if you did?
I did see that. It was nice, fun to watch. They lost in the finals, it sucked, but to a good Rockland team that year, so yeah.
Yeah, good. Rockland's good every year these days. Yeah. Miller, I'm going to ask you a couple similar questions. So first of all, what did it mean to you to get to stand up on that stage, put this jersey on, and wear the bright yellow 3rd jersey of the Carlton Place Canadians?
Yes, it was definitely an honor. My grandparents and my mom grew up in there, so just an honor.
And in terms of, your personal accomplishment, how does it feel to know that, you're getting the recognition for your game to get your name called this early in the draft?
Yeah, it's awesome. I didn't know I was going to CPA, honestly, but hearing my name get called, it's an honor.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you guys a little bit about your games. I know you're both forwards, I know you're both teammates, but Will, let's start with you. How would you describe your game?
I describe my game as a skilled two-way forward. I like to play in the offensive and defensive zone. I really harp on the both sides of the puck, and I like to use my body and play with some skill.
All right, Miller, same question to you.
I model my game like power forward, likes to set the tone, speedy, offensive winger, plays the body.
All right, sounds good. All right, gentlemen, I got one last question for you each, and it's just, what would your message be to Carlton Place Canadians fans? Miller, I'm going to start with you.
Honestly, I have no clue. Just get ready for some big hits, and yeah.
All right, fantastic. Will, anything to say?
I'm just excited to start playing in front of you, hopefully, and yeah, that's it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me, and congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the night.
That's Rowan McCarthy with William Gray and Miller Zavitsky of the Carlton Place Canadians. And Rowan likes to throw in that question there at the end to try to stump them and see what they would say to the fans. And, a couple big hits coming up. Let's get it. Why not, right?
Yeah, some great lines from these draft prospects. And I know it's really nerve-wracking for them to come up on the stage. I mean, this is some of the first interviews they might have ever done in their lives, right? So great to get all these guys out here, really, and thanks so much to all of them for talking with us here on the broadcast.
As we continue to work our way through the interviews from the first 2 rounds, we're going to go ahead and send it back to Rowan McCarthy, who's with the first 2 picks of the Hawkesbury Hawks, Lawson McCann and Owen Stevens.
Joined here by the 2 latest members of the Hawkesbury Hawks. They are Owen Stevens and Lawson McCann. Owen, I'm going to start with you. Yep. You're a defenseman. What do you pride yourself on as a defenseman in your game?
Definitely my physicality and my defensive play to shut down the defensive zone.
I'm going to come over here. Same question to you.
Probably my effort and compete level. I think I'm a two-way forward that's really competitive on the puck.
How did you react when you found out that you were going to Hawkesbury?
I was ecstatic. Hawkesbury is a great organization. I'm just super grateful to go there and be a Hawk.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back to you, Owen. So first of all, in terms of walking up on that stage and getting to stand in front of guys you've competed against, your family, all that, what did that moment feel like for you?
Definitely a sense of enjoyment that I made it this far, and it was pretty cool.
All right, fantastic. And I'm going to come back, Lawson. When did you sort of decide that hockey was something you really wanted to pursue? Do you remember anything like that?
I think since I've been young, it's always been something I've always wanted to do, and it's always been in my head to want to be a hockey player.
Now, have you followed the Hawks at all in the past?
Yeah, I went to a couple games in my lifetime, so when I've been up here.
What do you think about that building and that fan base? It can really get loud in there.
Yeah, it gets rowdy. I love the building. We've obviously played there with the Wild, so just super grateful and I'm ready to play there.
All right, we come back to you, Owen. Similar style of question, that building with the Hawkesbury Hawks fans, is there anything you want to say to them as, the newest member of their organization?
Yeah, I mean, hope you guys will accept me, and I'll just go out there and play the best I can for you guys.
All right, fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here. Congrats on the evening and enjoy it, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
And we're back. The draft has continued. Let's take a quick break here to talk about round 6 in the draft. They just went through those picks, so we'll name them off quickly, and then we'll take it back to Rowan McCarthy, who talked to some new Kemptville 73. So for Pembroke in the 6th round, Tyler McHenry, defenseman. For Nepean, Odin Simonson, also defenseman. Logan Colebrook to the Hawkesbury Hawks. Cornwall drafts Lexi Breen. Carlton Place drafts Mederick LeBeau. Smiths Falls drafts Mason Holkey. Cornwall takes Brayson Huff. And those are all defensemen to start the 6th round. Then Navan Athenstone, goaltender from the Ottawa 67s. Luke Henderson, forward to Kemptville. Griffin Amy, goaltender to the Ottawa Junior Senators. Benjamin Doris to the Brockville Braves, right defenseman. And Xavier Wren to the Rockland Nationals, winger. We'll go back to Rowan McCarthy, who talked with Emmett O'Neill and Cameron Keeley, the first 2 draft picks for the Kemptville 73s this evening.
Other side, gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on being selected here in the draft. I'm going to start over here with you, Alexander. What does it mean to you to be a member of the Navan Grads?
Well, for me, it's obviously great. It's been a dream to get drafted here in the CCHL since I can remember. I mean, it's obviously surreal being here with my teammates and obviously my partner. And I mean, it's just a great experience overall.
Fantastic. Leo, same question to you.
Yeah, like you said, it's such a good feeling, and we both played at Cumberland Grads when we were younger, so it feels good being back with the Navan Association.
Well, and you guys mentioned you've played together for a very long time. Does it make it easier knowing that you've got a teammate and a friend going with you to the same team?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the last few years we've been against each other, but I respect his game, and we used to be good buds, so it's definitely easier, yeah.
Fantastic. And all right, Alex, I'm going to ask you now. You got to get up there on the stage. You got to put this jersey on. You got friends and family here, I'm sure. What is it like to share this moment with them?
I mean, it's great. Obviously, knowing that I can make it to the next level of my game, being able to share with my friends, family, it's obviously amazing. And I'm just happy to be here to support them as we go on.
And I want to ask you guys a couple of questions here. It's going to be the same both sides. Okay, first of all, we're going to start with, how would you describe your game out there on the ice?
Yeah, I think I'm a two-way defender. I like first getting out of the zone and then getting some offense going also, getting some shots on net and getting the boys going also.
Thank you very much. Alexander, to you?
I'd describe my game as a heavy two-way power forward who likes to control the puck and find my teammates in the soft spots. And I'd describe it also as a pretty big hitter.
All right, now I'm going to ask you guys as well here. Navan is a storied franchise. They won a championship just a couple of years ago. What is it like going to a team that has that championship pedigree in such recent history?
Well, I mean, it's obviously great. You get to learn from the guys who've done it before, and they can pass it on to you to hopefully pass on to the next generation as well. I mean, it'd be great to just keep up the history going and win a few when we're there.
Leo?
Yeah, it really is an honor. They've produced some good players, and I've only heard good stuff about them, so I'm very excited.
All right, final question for you both. Okay, it's going to be, what do you have to say to Navan Grads fans directly now that you're part of the team they cheer for?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to them being there. I mean, hopefully we can get some more fans going and really bring the energy in the stands for the next years.
Nicely done, Leo.
Yeah, I think you guys should get ready because we'll both bring our A game and we'll give Navan another extra players that can really help out.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on the evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you. Well done. Good job.
And that was Navan grads Alexander Solier and Leo Hendricks, not the Kemptville 73s.
No.
But some great interviews from these guys. And, you know, we talked about how they might be nervous, but they really are absolutely nailing it. And it's great to see these guys talk to Rowan. And we'll bring it back to him here for his next set of interviews.
All right, I'm joined now by the first and second round picks of the Nepean Raiders. Cole Krotner to my left, Brody Schultz on my right. Gentlemen, first of all, congrats on the selections. How are you feeling?
Feels amazing. I mean, finally hearing my name being called feels great, yeah.
You can see a big smile on your face, eh?
Smile, yeah.
Who's here to support you in this moment? Is it friends, family, and did you say anything to them when you heard your name?
Yeah, friends and family. Walked past my brother and my mom, gave him a little nudge. It was nice. It's nice to see him there with me.
Fantastic. Cole, I'm going to ask you the same thing. You're now a member of the Nepean Raiders. What does it feel like to be part of one of the oldest and most storied franchises in the league?
Yeah, it's a great accomplishment, and I've heard nothing but good things about Nepean.
Fantastic. What do you bring? What is your style of play coming into this Nepean group?
I think I'm a power forward who is going to be able to set up my teammates and make everyone around me better.
I would have guessed you're taller than me without skates on, so that's not hard, though. I'm not the biggest guy. Cole, same question to you. What did it mean to walk up on the stage, be able to put this jersey on, and just hear your name called?
Yeah, I mean, just all the hard work I've put in, all my family's dedication to me, and it just feels amazing.
All right. Now, guys, I'm going to ask a couple of questions generally. So the first one I wanted to ask you is, maybe we'll start over here with you, Brody, because I haven't asked you. What's your style of play like?
Yeah, I'm a strong, fast, physical forward. I'm good on the back check and the forward check. I go into every corner with an FU attitude, and try and make my teammates around me better.
Fantastic. Now I wanted to ask you guys both the same question here. What do you have to say to Nepean Raiders fans, just as your first sort of hello?
It's an honor to be called and to be a Nepean Raider. Excited for what's to come.
Fantastic. Cool.
I'm excited to be a Nepean Raider, and just looking forward to what this next season holds for me.
All right. First of all, guys, I want to say again, congrats on being picked. Have a great rest of your evening, and thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Nice job, guys. Perfect. Yeah, see? It's not hard.
Thanks to Cole Krotner and Brody Schultz, newest members of the Nepean Raiders. Now we will go back to the Kemptville 73's newest picks in Cameron Keeley and Emmett O'Neill.
Jersey, and know that now you're a member of Kemptville's organization.
I mean, there's no words to describe the feeling. It's just great. It felt amazing.
Fantastic. Cam, I know you guys played against each other coming into this moment. Are you going to bring that rivalry in here at all, or is it all going to be good if you're teammates next year?
No, I think we're going to leave all the bad blood in the past and just move on as teammates from now.
And is there actually bad blood, or?
Not really, but different teams, so maybe a little bit.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll get over it. All right. Well, okay, Emmett, I want to ask you now. We know Kemptville was a young team. They had a great year with a young group. Do you think that moving in, you guys can be a part of that continued growth process?
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to be a 16-year-old playing on Kemptville. As you said, this year they had some young players that really contributed, and I think that's what I would like to do next.
Fantastic. Cam, you're coming into a new team, a new fan base. First of all, what did it mean to you to have this moment in front of your friends, family, stuff like that? And who's here to share this with you?
I'm here with my family and most of my teammates, so I'm just really excited for this awesome opportunity. I grew up watching the team for my whole life, so I'm really excited for this.
Fantastic. All right, now I'm going to ask the next couple of questions to both of you. We're going to start with just describing your style of play, just so Kemptville 73's fans can maybe get to know you a little. Emmett, I'm going to start with you. How would you say that you play?
I think I'm a calm defenseman who's smooth skating and can create offense for his team.
Fantastic. Cam, next to you.
I'd say I'm a little bit of a smaller forward who has a really high hockey IQ and is able to set up his teammates and put them into good positions.
All right, now final question before I let you go. Is there anything you have to say to 73's fans directly, just, as you're their newest players?
I'm just excited to be a part of the organization and hope to play soon.
Cam?
Just get ready to cheer us on in the future and go 73s.
All right, fantastic job, guys. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys. That was great. You did great, see?
That was Rowan McCarthy with Emmett O'Neill and Cameron Keeley of the Kemptville 73s as we get set to head down the road to the Ottawa Junior Senators. It's Rowan McCarthy standing by with Innes Robinson and Jacob Laplante.
I'm joined now by the newest members of the Ottawa Junior Senators. I have Innes Robinson here on my left, and I have Jacob Laplante to my right. Gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on the selections. I'm sure it was a fun moment. Jacob, I'm going to start with you and ask you, what did it feel like to get to walk up on the stage and now to wear this jersey, which, by the way, brand new this season?
Well, it's a surreal opportunity that I've got to enjoy. It's just hearing my name from Ottawa. I'm just pleased to be a part of this team now.
Innes, for you, you're coming from the 67s. It's in that area right near where the Junior Senators play, and they are obviously a historic franchise. What does it mean to you to be a part of this franchise now?
No, it's an honor. I've came to see a few games, especially in the playoffs against Smith Falls, and it's a great organization, great fan base, and I'm really proud to be a part of this team.
What was your reaction to the pace of play in that series against Smith Falls? Just, obviously you played a lot of hockey in your days. What was it like to see that style?
It was incredible. You really realize how much quicker, how much faster, how much harder they hit, how much more compete, and how much more passion they really have for the game. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Jacob, coming over here to you. Obviously, it's been a long road. You guys have been playing for a very long time. Is this gratifying to have a bit of a moment of recognition being an early pick in this draft?
Well, obviously it is a bit, but it's still, I know I've put in the hard work, and obviously, hearing my name up there, it pleases me a bit, but no, I'm just excited to keep on working and just try and make the team.
Fantastic. All right, guys, I'm going to ask you a couple questions at the same time, okay? The first one is going to be, I want you to describe your style of play for me. So, Innes, I'm going to start with you. How are you as a player?
I think I'm a playmaker, more of an offensive forward or winger. My coach can definitely rely on me to put the puck in the back of the net when it counts most, and I think I play the best when I'm passing the puck around and finding my teammates.
All right, now over to you, Jacob. Same question.
I would say I'm a reliable defensive defenseman who can shut down plays. I can play a very physical game, and I can move pucks and create offense from the blue line.
All right, final question for you both. You have the opportunity now to speak directly to the Junior Senators fan base. Is there anything you want to say to the fans? Jacob, I'll start with you.
No, I'm just excited to try and be a part of with you guys, and I'll just bring my best to every practice and game, and see you soon.
All right, thank you. Innes, now to you.
I just say, like Jacob said, really excited. It's an honor to be a part of such a good organization and team, and I'm just looking forward to the next season. So, yep.
All right, fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here, having a bit of a conversation. Congratulations on the evening. I'm sure I'll get to watch you more. I do the play-by-play for Ottawa, so I have my eyes on you. And again, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
That was Rowan McCarthy with Innes Robinson and Jacob Laplante of the Ottawa Junior Senators. And good opportunity for Rowan to talk to some guys that he's probably going to be saying their name quite a bit over the next couple of years as one of the broadcasters over there at the Jim Durrell Arena alongside Mason Dietrich. Jordan, as we've had a couple more rounds come through here, rounds 7 through 9 over the last couple of minutes. So a couple more players, 36 more names added to the Central Canada Hockey League rosters here over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and you never know with the late round picks here in Junior A. These players are so young that the development curve is very different from like an NHL or even where you're drafting 18-year-olds. These players are 16, haven't even grown like fully into their bodies. So lots of opportunity for late round picks to make Junior A hockey ranks. And here's the 7th round. It was Pembroke starting out with Quentin DeRitier from the Ottawa Valley Titans. Then Cole Kavanaugh to the Nepean Raiders, forward from the Ottawa Valley Silver 7 AA. From the Eastern Ontario Wild, Felix Vachon to the Hawkesbury Hawks, forward. Hudson Gibbs to the Cornwall Colts from Seaway Valley Rapids in U16 AA. Cruz Kostak to the Carlton Place Canadians from Canada in U16 AA. Nathan Craig over into Brockville from the Ottawa Valley Titans. Renfrew, Spencer Aikman from Myers Automotive, U16 AAA. Lane Thompson to the Navan grads. He's 6'3", 180 from the Ottawa Valley Titans as well. Raphael Gabi to the Kemptville 73s from Ottawa, Myers Automotive. Theo Gregoire, his teammate to the Ottawa Junior Senators, both of them forwards, as well as Noah Grenier from the Upper Canada Cyclones to the Hawkesbury Hawks, also a forward, and Aaron Mullett to the Rockland Nationals from Gloucester, defenseman from Gloucester over in the AA ranks to end out round 7. And Robert, take us away with what happened in round 8.
Taking a look at round number 8, it was CCHL Pembroke that kicked it off from Ottawa Myers Automotive U16. It was Sebastian Antar-Marca, a right winger. Next up was the Nepean Raiders taking Dylan Hughes from the Gloucester Rangers AA. Another right winger, so 3 right wingers to start round number 8. Hawkesbury going with Julien Dubé from the Ottawa 67s U16. It was Sean Moore, a defenseman from Seaway, headed off to the Cornwall Colts at pick number 88. Pick 89 was Grady Brosso, another defenseman, a right defense from the Ottawa 67s U16, headed to Carlton Place. Brockville taking a forward that took part in the Combine last week in Bradley Colpitts from the Ottawa Valley Silver 7 U16 AA. Braden McColgan from Ottawa Valley, a left defender, headed off to the Renfrew Wolves. As the Navan grads at pick number 92 took Sebastian Bourgault from Embrun of Junior B. So another goaltender with some junior experience headed off to the Navan grad. So that's going to be a good pickup for them. We'll have to keep our eyes on Sebastian Bourgault, as Liam Marshall, another player that took part in that Combine just 1 week ago from OHA U17, headed to the Kemptville 73s. Lucas Stricky, a left winger from Upper Canada, headed to the Ottawa Junior Senators at pick 94. Thomas Anderson, another Combine participant from Ottawa Valley U16, headed to the Smith Falls Bears. And the final pick in round number 8, Matthias Boisvert from Eastern Ontario Wild, headed to the Rockland Nationals. So that was your picks in round number 8. A few guys that took part in the Combine, so really showcasing themselves a week ago and now having their names called here today.
And apparently Rockland was listening to my broadcast at the CCHL Combine, because they take Matthias Boisvert, who's a defenseman at the end of the 8th round, who I picked as one of our CCHL radio players of the game. They're another really strong pick in the 8th round for them. And I promise I'm not biased towards Rockland, but they just drafted all my favorite players.
They're good at everything they do.
And a couple players that I've just went to, I thought have some real potential in these 7th and 8th rounds. I thought Raphael Gabi to the Kemptville 73s had a really strong weekend. He was the assist leader over the weekend there. For his team and for the tournament in general on the pre-draft Combine. But he had a really strong weekend, and he's just a highly skilled player who's really good at finding his teammates. I thought Dylan Hughes also had a really good weekend from Gloucester. He went to the Nepean Raiders. Thomas Anderson, also a player that was at the Combine. But yeah, now you're really starting to see players who were at the Combine trying to make names for themselves and proving that they were able to do so in becoming draft picks. And we'll move on here to the 9th round, as you'll announce the 10th round here, but more players from the Combine coming up here. It's Ben Shreen into Pembroke. He's from the Ottawa Valley U18 ranks. Winger Jacob Blondin to the Nepean Raiders from the Upper Canada U16. Noah Blais to the Ottawa Junior Senators, who I thought really went a bit later than I thought he could have went. He's a really good skater on the back end as a defenseman. He's from Gloucester team. Saif Alexander Pardon to Cornwall. He played actually U18 AAA this year for the Eastern Ontario Wild. And another 2008 born player who's hoping he can make an impact earlier on, but a late pick for Cornwall as he hopes to maybe even make the lineup this year as a 9th-round pick. That could be something to monitor.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because he looked really good for me as a steady defenseman at the draft combine as well. Callum Underhill to the Carlton Place Canadians, winger from Nepean AA. Jackson Day to Brockville from Upper Canada U18. Also from Ottawa Valley U18, Bren Curry, a defenseman. He was also at the draft combine. Ty DeLaurie from Myers Automotive U16. Winger Carter Cook, another forward. That's to Kemptville. Ottawa selected Ashton McLear from the Ottawa 67s U16. Reed Foley went to Smiths Falls for the Rideau St. Lawrence Kings. That's where he's from. And from the Eastern Ontario Wild, it's Charles Gagne to the Rockland Nationals.
And now Commissioner Jesse Winchester is going through the 11th round picks. We'll take a look at round number 10. The first pick in that round is from the Brockville Braves. They picked up the pick from CCHL Pembroke. Landon Legree going with the first pick in that round from Upper Ottawa Valley. He is a forward joining the Brockville Braves. The Nepean Raiders next up took Wyatt Lang at pick number 110, also from Upper Ottawa Valley. So a couple teammates there going as the first 2 picks in round number 10. As the Hawkesbury Hawks at pick 111 took Eli Thomas from Eastern Ontario Wild AA. Another forward going there is the Cornwall Colts with the next pick. Took Benton St. Jean, the first defenseman in round number 10 from Seaway Valley. As Canada finally getting another pick here at number 113 from the Carlton Place Canadians. Kyle DeTore, a goaltender, joining the ranks. So a late goaltender here in round number 10. At pick 114, the Brockville Braves taking Alexandre Schufelt, a right winger from Upper Canada U18. As Kieran McCullough goes to the Renfrew Wolves. That's a centerman from the Upper Ottawa Valley AA ranks. As another pick coming here from the Eastern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Love my Junior B picks here, especially in the late rounds. Round number 10, giving a player an opportunity, someone that maybe didn't make they didn't get the spotlight they were hoping for earlier on in their career, make those impressions that they were hoping at the earlier days, but now coming back, showing what they can do in the Junior B ranks, and having the opportunity to potentially work their way into a role in Junior A next season. So that pick from the Renfrew Wolves Junior B team going to the Navan Grads, that is Mannix Hart, a forward at pick number 116.
And I think Mannix Hart went too late in this draft. I'm just going to be honest.
I agree.
I thought he was really strong at the draft combine. Look, one of the best forwards there, in my opinion. And obviously he should, because he's older than those guys, but he did. And most of these players got drafted before him. Mannix Hart in the playoffs in Junior B, 14 points in 12 games. And tell me that can't go play in Junior B, or Junior
Absolutely.
A, rather. And,
Absolutely.
And a huge steal of a pick from Navan. That's my steal of the round. Another player that I like in this round as well, Benton St. Jean to the Cornwall Colts, who's a really strong forward from the Seaway Valley Rapids. And it's just a really good round. Like, some of these names, some of these guys, they're such good hockey players still in round 10 of the CCHL Draft. And it's really, cool to see. We'll go to round 11 in just a moment, but we will take a break and go back to Rowan McCarthy as, Robert will talk to the, Rowan will talk to the
That's right.
Players that were selected in the first 2 rounds by the Renfrew Wolves.
All right, I'm joined now by the latest additions to the Renfrew Wolves family. They are Christian Gimpoli and Marcus Smolsick. Gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on the draft selections. I know it's a big night. I'm going to start here with you, Christian. What did it feel like to get to walk up onto that stage and be selected in front of friends and family?
Yeah, it was huge. A little stressful, but you get to shake the owner's hand. You get to put on the jersey, put on the hat, take the photo. It was just such an exciting moment. Yeah.
Marcus, over to you. Leading up to tonight, were there any nerves or any anxiety going into draft night?
Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome league, and getting to have your name on it is incredible.
Now, looking ahead, if you do end up joining the Renfrew Wolves, they have a great fan base. They have a great rink, which you're familiar with. What is it going to be like to get to wear this jersey on the ice for the first time?
It's going to be awesome. Like, you see the logos everywhere, and getting to wear that logo is going to be a really cool experience.
Awesome. Christian, now over to you. I wanted to ask about, is there anybody here supporting you, and what do you have to say to them?
Yeah, my mom, my dad are here. So happy that they were able to show up. So happy that they could, fund this journey, this hockey journey. Minor hockey is expensive, and I'm just happy that they were able to, help out. My grandparents actually made a surprise entry. I didn't expect them to come, but they actually came, so that was great to have them there here supporting me during this process.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you both the same questions now, okay? The first one is going to be, who are you as players, and what can Renfrew Wolves fans expect from you? Marcus, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm an athletic goalie. I love to be in the net. I'm always trying to win, and I'm going to perform under pressure and be there when you guys need me to.
Great recent history for the Wolves in terms of goalies, so you're in good hands. Christian, now over to you. Who are you as a player?
I'm an offensive defenseman who likes to move my feet. I like to be mobile. I like to generate plays with my hockey IQ and my vision, and I'm here to compete and I'm here to win.
Fantastic. All right, guys, last question for you. You have the opportunity to talk directly to Renfrew Wolves fans now. Is there anything you want to say to them as their latest members of the team they cheer for? Christian, I'll start with you.
Like I said, I'm here to win. I want to have success with this team, and I'm hoping that we can make it far in the future.
All right, over to you, Marcus.
Well, looking to win games, give you guys a couple big saves to cheer for, and just hoping to have a really good season.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here with us. We loved having a conversation with both of you. I know it's a big night. Congrats again, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nice try, Ben. Well done.
And that was Rowan McCarthy with Christian Giampoli and Marcus Smolczyk from the Renfrew Wolves, the first two picks for that organization. As we're going to get set to go back to Rowan McCarthy, standing by with Tristan Gendron-Steele and Gavin Aru, the newest members of the Rockland Nationals.
All right. Fantastic. I'm joined now by the latest members of the Rockland Nationals, Tristan Gendron-Steele, Gavin Aru. Guys, first of all, congratulations on being selected. I know it's a big moment. Tristan, I'm going to start with you. How did it feel to walk up on that stage and get to put on this jersey, especially given Rockland's recent history?
Yeah, obviously it felt great. I've been watching them ever since I was little, so wearing the jersey finally, it's a great feeling.
All right, Gavin, I'm going to come over here and ask you a very similar question. You're here with family, friends. What is it like to share this moment with them?
It's awesome. Everyone's been through it with me my whole life, and to share this moment with them is special. So.
Now, I know that you guys have watched Rockland. You're familiar with the fans. What do you think of that arena? I think it's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, that arena is awesome. It's probably one of the best in the league, and it's fun. It's going to be a good ice to play on.
Fantastic. I'll come back here to ask you, Tristan, knowing that they have that big fan base in Rockland and they love to get behind their team, is that something that gets you excited as a player?
Yeah, definitely gets me excited, right? A lot of commotion in the crowd, so it's definitely one like an arena to look forward to, and a lot of good things can happen there.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here that are going to go to both of you, okay? The first one I wanted to ask is, what kind of player are you, and what are you going to bring to the Rockland Nationals? Gavin, I'm going to start with you.
I would say I'm a playmaker that likes to distribute the puck and make plays. I like to create offense, use my stick work to create turnovers, and play well in all zones.
Fantastic. Tristan, same to you.
Yeah, I'm kind of a grinder and like a playmaker guy. I can use my skill to make plays like under pressure and stuff, and I can win puck battles when needed to, bring speed and hit guys.
All right, thank you very much. Last question for you now. Talking directly to the Rockland Nationals fan base, is there anything you want to say as the latest members of the team?
I'm just excited to be here. Thanks for this opportunity, and I won't disappoint.
Fantastic. Gavin, same to you.
I'm honored to be drafted by you guys, and let's get this rolling for the next couple of years.
Next couple. They've already had two. All right, I like it. We're going to keep the dynasty going. Congrats, boys. All right, so thank you so much for joining me, guys. I know it's a big night. Congratulations on being selected, and enjoy the rest of your evening, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nice job, guys. Perfect.
That was Rowan McCarthy with Tristan Gendron-Steele and Gavin Aru. We're going to send it back to Rowan one final time here to hear from the first 2 draft picks of the Smith Falls Bears, Jacob Tizik and Quinn Creeley. Back to you, Rowan.
Second round pick of the Smith Falls Bears. They are Jacob Tizik and Quinn Creeley. Guys, first of all, congratulations on being selected. I know it's a big night for you. The emotions have to be high. I'm going to start over here. What was it like to get to stand up on the stage, put on this jersey, and share this moment with your friends and family?
I think it was great, new experience. So I was a little nervous at the start, but I think getting picked by Smith Falls is great.
Is there anything particular that draws you to Smith Falls, and what makes you think that they're a good destination?
Well, they've been a competitor, as you said, ever since. Recently, they're in the finals, so I think it's just them being a good team. It's great.
Nice answer. All right, we're going to come over here. Jacob, first of all, for you, I've seen the big smile. You must be feeling great. What is it like to get on that stage and hear your name?
It was so exciting. It was, Smith Falls is only 15 minutes away from me, so it was kind of a hometown team, so it was amazing to get picked by them.
Now, I know that, as you said, you're a hometown guy. You spent some time following the Bears. What do you think about this most recent season?
It was amazing. They did amazing. I mean, they're still pushing. You never know what could go in the series, but they were a great team. It's a very skilled team.
Fantastic. All right, Quinn, I'm going to come back to you. Like we talked about, it's an exciting night. All the emotions are high, but when you finally get that opportunity to get the payoff for all the hard work you've done, what does that feel like?
It feels great, honestly. I think just putting in that hard work and seeing it pay off is all you can ask for.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you both same questions here. All right. First one is going to be, what are you like as players, and what are you going to bring to the Bears? Jacob, I'm going to start with you.
I'm a small, fast player with a lot of IQ that can make plays in the offensive zone, but can also be a defensive player.
Very good. Quinn, over to you.
I think I'm a big offensive forward who has a good shot and will get some goals for the Bears.
Fantastic. All right, now I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk directly to the Bears fan base. They're a spirited bunch. Do you have anything to say directly to them? Quinn, I'm going to start with you.
I just say go Bears, go.
Nice. Short and sweet. I like it. And over here, Jacob, to you.
No, I'm super excited, and you guys got the best fans.
Fantastic. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here. I know it's a big night. Congrats on the selection, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nice job, guys. Well done.
Thanks so much to Rowan and to all the players from all of these CCHL teams for the interviews today. We will go through the last 2 rounds of picks, a couple players we like, a couple drafts we like, and then we'll wrap up here at the Nepean Sportsplex. But in the 11th round, Pembroke started it off with Jax Kathnelson from the Upper Ottawa Valley Aces in AA. Then Jack Langdon from the Nepean, or drafted to the Nepean Raiders from Myers Automotive U16. Nolan McDonald to the Hawkesbury Hawks from the Cumberland Grads AA. Cornwall drafted Zachary Wilson, the center from the Seaway Valley Rapids U18 AA. Brockville took Jade O'Neill, the forward from the Rideau St. Lawrence Kings in U16 AA. They also took Ethan Roos, defenseman from the Ottawa Valley Silver 7 Renfrew, then went up and took Carter LaForest, another player from the Junior B ranks from the Ottawa Junior Canadians, as he hopes to make an early impact. Another Junior B from the Richmond Royals, Dylan Cutts, went to the Navan Grads towards the end of round 11. Then Kemptville took Keenan MacArthur, goaltender from the Ottawa 67s U16 AAA. Michael Asaf, defenseman, went to the Ottawa Junior Senators. From the Eastern Ontario AA Ottawa, Noah Hodgins, the center, to the Brockville Braves. He's from the Upper Canada HEO under 18 AA. And Tristan Bourgeois closed out the round. He's from the Canada Blazers in U18 or U16 AA rather, a defenseman to the Ottawa Junior Senators. Robert takes away with round 12.
The final round of the 2026 CCHL Draft saw Logan Bell go first in this round to CCHL Pembroke out of Upper Ottawa Valley. That's a forward joining the ranks in Pembroke. Rourke Mooney, another forward from Upper Ottawa Valley, headed here to the Nepean Raiders. Not going to have to go too far, right here at home. Jack Barton from Eastern Ontario Wild headed to the Hawkesbury Hawks, so another forward there. Quinn Grant, the first defenseman in this round, headed to the Cornwall Colts out of Seaway. Next two picks both belonging to the Ottawa Junior Senators. Both forwards, Jeremy Selway from Ottawa Valley Silver 7 and Tegan Curran from Ottawa AA headed to Ottawa Junior Sens. The next pick is a guy that his family is pro hockey all around. Justin Allard, his father played for the Smith Falls Bears and the Pembroke Lumber Kings. His uncle was a skills coach for the Colorado Avalanche. He played pro over in Russia and France. Also played Junior A himself for Smith Falls and Pembroke Lumber Kings. He's got two cousins currently playing in the American Hockey League. Another cousin playing a NCAA Division I women's hockey for Connecticut. And another cousin playing pro in France. So this whole family is pro hockey players. Justin Allard going to the Renfrew Wolves in round number 12. He is from the Upper Ottawa Valley. Navan picking up Jackson Gibbons, a left winger out of Eastern Ontario Wild. Kemptville 73s taking Louis Bastion, a forward from the Gloucester Rangers. Nepean Raiders AA sending Cole Heisen to the Ottawa Junior Senators. CCHL Pembroke again late in round number 12, taking Gabriel Schroeder, a defenseman from Upper Ottawa Valley. And the final pick of the 2026 CCHL Draft, Wyatt Nera, defenseman from Nepean Raiders AA, heading to the Nepean Raiders Junior A ranks. And Jordan, that is all of our draft picks here today. 144 young men joining a great league in the Central Canada Hockey League and bringing in the next generation of players.
Yeah, and that's what this day is all about. It's about progress, it's about looking to the future, and it's about excitement. Every single year it seems like the level of hockey just gets better at every level.
Absolutely.
And Junior A is no exception. The CCHL is no exception, and all these players will be the future of the league. A couple players that stood out to me in these late rounds. How about Jeremy Selway to the Ottawa Junior Senators late here? I was able to watch him at the draft combine, and I thought his puck protection using his large frame was really effective at the pre-draft combine, and I thought he was one of the forwards that stood out to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he cracks a roster at some point, even though he's a 12th round pick. Gabriel Schroeder on defense went to the Pembroke Lumber, or to the CCHL Pembroke rather, and I thought he was a really good defenseman as well. Just steady, really sound, very good positionally at the events there. But overall, just taking a look at this draft, I mean, we already talked about how I really like Pembroke's draft. I thought they had a few really good steals. I really like the draft from the Kemptville 73s.
Absolutely.
I think their top two picks were really strong, but in the third round as well with Sandro Makaridze, or rather with Dylan Malhotra, apologies, he's a really good player. I am really impressed with him. And Julian Mello is who I meant to say instead of Makaridze. He went in the fourth round, and I think that is a genuine steal in the fourth round for Kemptville, getting a Julian Mello from the Upper Canada Cyclones, and a really good draft overall for them. And really a lot of these players are just effective, and I wouldn't be surprised. We see every year a lot of players from the draft are able to even make the jump to the CHL, and it's a gamble that teams are willing to take, but doesn't always pay off, and that's the level of talent you see at these draft places.
Well, that's exactly it. You look at these players, a good chunk of them will go on to major junior opportunities, either in the OHL or in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League as well. We saw a lot of players make the jump up mid-season this year and have those opportunities. And these teams here in-house today, they understand that risk with the draft picks, and you never know who could come back later in their career as well, come and finish up with these teams, maybe not having played with them prior. But today we're able to welcome 144 new men into the CCHL, and it's exciting times for this league.
It is, and that's one of the last league events we're going to have for a very long time, until, September? So it's a lot. Of course, the finals are still going on, but after that, it's a hockey wasteland in the summer. Interestingly, I think it gives everybody a reset, gives teams and players chances to develop in the off season, and provides new opportunities for players and teams alike.
Absolutely. And, we mentioned that the season's coming to an end. I'm going to ask you right here, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your score prediction for tomorrow night's game number 4 between Rockland and Smith Falls?
I think Rockland will win 3-2. That is my final prediction.
I think that's in overtime. Okay. I think that's a really good pick. I was going to say 4-3 in overtime as well. It's been a really close series, but Rockland's just had that upper hand, and I think they're well on their way to winning another championship and representing this league at the Centennial Cup coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you know they're hungry for it, but don't count Smith Falls out
Absolutely
either.
not.
They outplayed Rockland yesterday. They straight up did. They unfortunately couldn't finish things. They couldn't get it done in the end, but they did outplay them on the ice. They had an overall better body of work, but sometimes it doesn't matter when Gabriel Lewillier scores 16 goals in 12 playoff games. There's not much you can really do.
No, absolutely. I mean, you could put Gabriel Lehouillier out there with just about anybody, and I think that team has a really good shot at winning the game. He is that next level player that really has that something special, and I think he's a guy that we're going to see go on for quite some time and put together a pro career down the road.
Yeah, I really think so too, and maybe he does go to U Sports or something like that, but he does have a good chance of becoming an impact player even past the junior A level. That's the level of progress we've seen from him, but the draft here has been amazing. All 12 rounds, 144 picks. We've been Jordan Hashi, Robert Hill, Rowan McCarthy on the interviews. Thanks so much to our entire crew here videoing, our entire catering crew as well here at this event here at the Nepean Sportsplex. But we've been the 2026 CCHL Draft here on the Nepean Raiders YouTube channel. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you very much, Jordan and Robert. Fantastic work on the desk as always. There are very few people who could have provided that level of analysis for this event, so very pleased to have had the opportunity to work alongside both of you. That pretty much wraps up the 2026 CCHL Draft. We got to see it all. We got to see the elated players, proud parents, calculating organizations, and for these kids that got to take their moment, step up on stage, put on the new jerseys, they're taking their first steps away from minor hockey and the familiarity of that place and into the wild jungle that is junior hockey. Every name called has the opportunity to one day play for these teams and make a difference for these organizations. We've seen potential stars drafted tonight and some who will continue with their hockey career for much, much further. After all, this year's stars and guys like Carter Beauchesne and Will Mullins both came out of this very draft a year ago. Only time will tell how many guys from this year's selection will be playing next year for these Junior A squads. My name is Rowan McCarthy. On behalf of Jordan Hache, Robert Hill, and everybody here at the InYourSeat.tv crew, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure producing this event and having the opportunity to talk to some of these players. Once more, thank you for joining us, and have a great rest of your night, everybody.